Alrighty, very happy Thursday, and welcome to the TNC Sports Talk. My name is Justin. Today is May 14th of 2026. I hope everyone is doing just fine. I know, we'll have a lot to get down into it, but I want to have ourselves a good day. And how do we do that? We got to handle some business. It's just something that we're going to have to get used to doing um here. As look, reality is Reds ain't playing well. Okay, we'll talk about that, get you guys ready for game 3 as the Reds and Nationals get scheduled to take on later this afternoon. But I do want to change and shift and have some fun conversations here. So I plan on talking, getting you guys ready for the NFL schedule to be released tonight. Now, there are some teams that schedules are already leaked, but nothing is official until tomorrow, until tonight. I want to say about 7:30, 8 o'clock on the NFL Network. You can tune in and officially see the schedule for the NFL season. And so I am excited because now we can start kind of picturing matchups, right? We could kind of start putting two and two together um, when it comes down to all of this, and then that's what's great about it. We get to look at what our teams are going to be facing this year. We got to worry about what our teams are, the chances of winning. And so, one thing I want to do here in today's episode is have some fun. So, I am going to predict what the schedule could look like for the Bengals. This is not affirmative. This is just me knowing who's going to be home, who's going to be away, knowing what the NFL already has laid out for us in matchups, and kind of pinpoint that through. I kind of went through half the season already. I'll go through the other half for you. So we'll talk a lot about football today, and we'll talk a lot about the baseball today. We'll talk about the Bengals, and we talk about the Reds. Before we get down into any of the conversations today, I want to go ahead and just share with some insight about what to expect coming up here on our channel. We are caught up and we are ready to go when it comes down to our franchise mode series where we play as the Cincinnati Reds throughout the course of the 2026 season. And the Reds are set to face the Washington Nationals, game 3 of a 3-game series today at 12:40. Well, that's going to overlap this live stream. And I don't want people to have to pick and choose what is, uh, what's important, what's not important. So we're gonna do this live stream. We're gonna end, and then at 3 o'clock today, that's where you will see Game 3 of the Nationals and uh, the Reds in the franchise mode series, thanks to MLB The Show 26. And then tonight, a little special double feature header as the Giants and Dodgers Game 3 of their series set to take place 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will not only be able to watch that on our YouTube channel, be able to watch that on our Facebook page. Something I'm trying to give a little bit more exclusive look for those who are following us on our social media accounts when it comes to our gaming content. So, just a little treat, a little news update for you guys as well when it comes down to that. As far as this show goes, we will wrap up our week tomorrow, as we will go ahead and have our normal show noon to 1. But then we will not be here Monday. My daughters have some end of school events going on that I will be present for. I'm not going to try to squeeze in a show because the times may be conflictive. So we're just not going to have a show on May 18th. So you can mark your calendars so you don't expect anything, but we will return on May 19th. So let's get the conversations underway. And I want to start things off by recapping the Reds and national games last night. It starts off, I think, fairly in the Reds' favor. Tyler Stevenson comes to the plate and hits a grand slam and puts the Reds up early on 5-0 in the first inning. Nick Lodolo goes 4 innings and shows in the second and third inning some struggles as he gives up 6 hits on 5 runs, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, and a lot of home runs. So beyond that, pitching was very close. Pitching was very tight. And this led to extra innings. And Tony Santion steps up and he allows a home run to Dalen Lyle, which is hard to get mad about if you think about it. A Louisville native. He went 2 for 4 last night, 3 RBIs, a winning home run in the 10th inning. The Reds tried to bounce back. Spencer Steer had a home run, or he had a hit ball hit out to left field, which was caught by the fan as he reached over the foul line, and it went into replay because a part of the argument said that it would have hit the foul line, and depending where it bounced afterwards, possibly over the line and over the fence, it would have been a home run. We would have had a tie game. Would have went into the extra innings, but it could have also bounced and hit back into play. So the runner did score, but then the umpires ruled that it was a ground rule double. Spencer Steer went to second, and that was all she wrote. The Reds lost 8-7. They dropped the series to the Nationals, and I can understand the frustration that Reds fans have. I wrote a post earlier this morning expressing my mental state. I think as fans, we all need to check in mentally with this Rays organization and how we feel about it. Now, I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm defending the Cincinnati Reds in every attribute, but there's enough sports analysts out there. There's enough Reds fans out there to argue, to backlash, to provide negativity from to the players, to the coaching staffs, to the front office, and to the outcome that these last few weeks has been given us. And most certainly in a series where we should honestly be at least tied 1-1, we continue to struggle. And not only we lost this series, now we are battling today not only to avoid a sweep by the Nationals, which would be abundantly embarrassing, but we would want to finish the series, the homestands, with a 3-3 record. And in order to do that, we have to win today. It's just a position that we honestly should not be in. I feel like we're really good on paper. So what's going on with the Cincinnati Reds? And, we've pinpointed several things. It's not just one. It's our rotation having inconsistent with their outings, which then rolls over to the bullpen being overworked. Offensively, we are not collectively together. Yeah, we could put up 7 runs, but we go put up those runs on despite of our bullpen, giving up the runs. Guys ain't performing, players getting injured. It's one thing after another. And at some point you ask yourself, this is just too much for me. How much more do we have to endure? And I'm here to remind you that we're only in May. A lot of teams are going through this. The Mets, who have been struggling, also the Dodgers. I saw a video on the Dodgers. Dodgers fans say that the Dodgers aren't playing their best of baseball. They're not synchronized together. They're all over the place. And They're actually concerned about how they are going to play the rest of the season. I'm here to remind you that we are only in May. This conversation would be completely different if we're having it in July. But I feel like every team, and I know this is a notorious statement, but every team goes through a drought like the Reds have gone through in the last 2.5 weeks. Time's going by slow. It seems like this is a repetitive thing. And I understand as a fan base, this is something that this isn't the first year that the Reds have demonstrated this type of result on the field. So as a fan, you sit here and tell yourself, oh, here we go again. This is a year after year conundrum. And so it's easy to say in pattern, with the patterns that we've seen over the last year, we can easily give up. But we haven't even hit summertime yet here. We haven't hit the dog days yet. And so I mean, for me, I'm weighed upon two options that I ask myself on a daily basis. One, is it time to just give up? Let's focus our attention on the excitement of the Cincinnati Bengals, their upcoming opponents this season, them going out to Madrid, Spain, and getting back to winning the AFC North and possibly going to a Super Bowl. Or is this going to are we going to grow out of this? Are we going to make some changes to help our organization out? Now, it's easy to give up. It's easy to move on, say better luck next year, go back to the drawing boards. This is the typical Reds. No big deal. We haven't won in quite some time. We're not going to win again. But it's the true fans. And I'm calling for all the true fans out there to hold in with me to say the Reds are going through a drought. Terry Francona trusts the process. You're going to have these days. We have a long season ahead of us. And I believe, as many fans should believe, that we're going to turn things around and have some good days again. And I would always say it starts off today. It will start off with the Nationals today, picking up a victory, avoiding the sweep, playing 500 in your last homestands before we head out up north to Cleveland in a 3-game series against our interleague rivals. Do you really point fingers at Nick Lodolo going 4 innings? His spring training process came to a halt at the beginning of the season with the blister finger. He was put on the shelf, and he had to make some outings in April. I wouldn't go as far as saying that this is spring training all over for him, but his first couple outings, just like every pitcher to begin a season, needs to have some room for leverage. I'll take you back to Friday night where they did lose, but he didn't have a necessarily bad outing for a person this is his second start this season. His blister is on his throwing finger, index finger. Like this is he's playing with discomfort. He's playing with a little bit of injury, and yet he's still giving us 4 innings. So I expect that from a guy who's making his debut now. Do you blame Terry Francona? Who could only try to put together the best scenario matchups in these situations, and it's up to the players to execute. But see, what I'm intrigued about all this, and I'll wrap it up here and move on. is that a month ago, we were all jumping with joy saying that this was a revelation of a new Cincinnati Reds team. They don't get out to a huge start like we normally see. And this was something we were going to ride all the way to the postseason, win the division. And yet, let me tell you this. The moment that the Reds stopped playing well, they had a bad weekend or they had a bad stretch or a drought, we're all hiding. We're all saying, oh, that's it. What's going to happen in a month from now if the Reds decide, hey, we're going to be able to turn things around? Are we going to jump back on that bandwagon? Well, sure, let's talk about things that we can fix, but let's remember that even through our drought, we've had some great moments. And a great moment was demonstrated last night when Tyler Stevenson hit a grand slam. A grand slam in the first inning. When all the other days we've talked about how poor Tyler Stevenson is, I've heard people say, get rid of him, let him move on. Yet he hit a grand slam, putting up 4 runs in the first. I don't know about you, but I watched that and I felt very rejoiced about this Reds team. I was excited. I was thrilled. I was confident. I believe that last night was the night that we could pick up a victory. You know what? I get it. Pitching prevailed. Pitching was the issue. We gave up runs. It shouldn't have been 5-5 in the third. It made every outing. We had opportunities late in the game with runners in scoring position and did not get them in. I will tell you, we are not the only team going through this. Even the best of the best teams are going through problems like these. So don't feel like we are alone. Don't pinpoint us out. And let's be honest with each other. We talked about this yesterday. What was the expectation did we really have for this team? At what grade level did you expect this Reds team to play and to perform at? So I understand there is a struggle. I'm not denying that there is a struggle, but we are going to prevail. One way we are going to prevail, and it seems like the least the Reds are showing interest in this, is that yesterday it was announced that the Reds signed Chris Paddock to their major league roster. You had Brandon Williamson on the 60-day IL due to fatigueness. You have Rhett Lauder moved to the 15-day IL. So right now we have 3 pitchers. We have we have 4 pitchers. We have Chase Burns, who is the only pitcher at this moment that is consistent enough that I feel confident out there. I feel confident enough because I even threw him earlier this week into the Cy Young Award conversation. Despite how bad our team is playing, I threw Chase Burns into the Cy Young Award conversation in relation to players like Shohei Ohtani and Paul Skeens. Maybe not as good as their performances, but he's up there in the conversations to me at least. But then we have Andrew Abbott and Brady Singer, who are just inconsistent with their outings. One outing, they could pitch 6 innings shutout, no runs, no hits, maybe a walk and 6 strikeouts. That's a good outing to me. But then the next outing, they don't go past 3 or 4. Then you have Nick Lodolo, who has to be given a couple outings before we really can make his determination. I can already tell you in a future prediction, I'm going to say that Nick Lodolo is sitting here, probably going to be inconsistent also. And now that means we need one other pitcher. Now, I would impose to offer that position to Chase Petty. I like what we saw 2 weeks ago on Monday against the Cubs. Could we see him make another appearance But the Reds decide, hey, we're going to go out and sign Chris Paddock. Chris Paddock was released by the Miami Marlins earlier this season already. 0-5, 7.363 ERA in 30 innings. He gave up 41 hits, one hit batter, 10 walks, 6 home runs, 27 strikeouts, and about 145 batters he's faced thus far. So the Reds are making the attempt to change the narrative and try to add change the narrative and try to add to their rotation. I call petty, maybe keep Chris Paddock down below, but all right, Chris Paddock gets called up. Now, I'm not going to go jump for joy. I think that there is room for a change of scenery for Chris Paddock. Major league numbers are not the best. He's not anyone special. He's a name. And the only reason why he's a name of familiar is because I've seen him throw in with, being a Padres fan, living in San Diego, very familiar with Chris Paddock. Got a chance watching him coming up through the minor leagues. Pitched for the Padres. Really liked him. But he got traded. Didn't really put all that great stuff out there. Usually it's one of those scenarios where, hey, you change the scenery, you get comfortable at home, and things take off. Well, that's not what it is. So Chris Paddock comes into town. We got to ask ourselves, what is the expectation? And who do you point fingers to if things don't work out? Well, my expectation is not high for Chris Paddock. He is a guy who is going to fill in the spots as needed because we are, adding up on injuries and, it's starting to catch up to us. We just need somebody to fill in, and he's probably the best thing that we could possibly come up with. I don't expect him to be on the team long, depending how everyone returns. And I don't blame anybody if things don't work out. I don't have a lot of hope for it. And I say that, and I hope that Chris Paddock, I hope the Reds could prove me wrong. Like I said, change of scenery could help him get onto a good lead. But I think he's expected to pitch over the weekend against the Cleveland Guardians, if I'm not mistaken. But the Reds wrap up a 3-game series against the Nationals today. They look to avoid the sweep in a getaway day. They will send out the Reds, who are 22-21, fifth place in the NL Central, will send out right-handed pitcher Chase Burns. Burns is 4-for-1. He has a 2.11 ERA. He last pitched on Saturday against the Astros. He pitched 6 innings, giving up 4 hits, 1 run, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. The Reds won that game. Remember, the Reds beat the Astros in that series. Unless I'm completely wrong. Let me double check for you. Trying to look at the schedule. Please help me. No one look for today. Let me look at the schedule. Come on. There we go. This way. Yeah, they won Saturday and Sunday. They won the series. And now, they dropped 2, so they're looking to avoid the series. But they'll go up against the 21-22 Washington Nationals. Now, Washington Nationals are in second place of the NL East. They will be sending out left-handed pitcher Foster Griffin, who's 4-1 with a 2.12 ERA. Last pitch last Friday night at Miami, where he went 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned run, 1 walk, and 9 strikeouts. Probably one of his better outings. This game is on at 12:40, coming up here in about 10-15 minutes. Available on Reds TV, or you can listen to it right here right there on WLW. Excuse me. We'll come back tomorrow. We'll get you guys ready for the Guardians and Reds series. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got to find fun to have these conversations with. Let's move right along. National League Central. Yesterday's action, the Rockies beat the Pirates 10-4. The Braves beat the Cubs 4-1, and the Padres beat the Brewers 3-1. Athletics beat the Cardinals 6-2. So all the division lost yesterday. Let me remind you still, one, and I'll take it for what it's worth. Every team in the National League Central is above 500. We are with 5 games of first place, and a week or 2 weeks can redefine where we stand at in the NL Central. And I say that because look at the Nationals in similar position. They started off in 4th place back on Tuesday, and now they're in 2nd place. So it's not like we are that far ahead. We are still above 500. Even if we lose today, we're at 500. Turn the clock over. And the Essential all lost yesterday. Today, a game that just got underway, Rockies and Pirates. At 1:40, Padres and Milwaukee. At 3:05, the Cardinals and Athletics. And at 7:15, the Cubs and the Braves. That is your NL Central lookout. All right, we're going to move on here a little bit. Cincinnati Bearcats play their final series of the regular season as they welcome in Texas Tech Red Raiders for a 3-game series that begins tonight. The Bearcats are 35-18 overall, 15-12 in conference play. They are 17-6 at home. They have finished the regular season with a 17-12 record. They are 1-0 at neutral locations. They did win the series last weekend against Kansas State on the road. Texas Tech, who comes into town for the very first time, visiting Cincinnati, Ohio. They are 26-25. They are 9-18 in conference play. They are 20-12 at home to finish the regular season, and they are 6-10 on the road with a 0-3 record at neutral location. So they will finish off the road series under 500. They did take 2 out of 3 against BYU last week. There's a little bit more to the story as playoff and seeding implications await, especially for Texas Tech. Well, Cincinnati Bearcats are ranked as of May 12th, 25th in Division I baseball, according to Division I baseball. Ranked 18th again in Baseball America, 21st in NCAA RPI, and 21st in just baseball. They look to have a secure spot in the Big 12 tournament, which, by the way, begins next Tuesday, May 19th. Texas Tech, on the other hand, enters this series today 1 game ahead of the 13th place Arizona and 1 game behind of Kansas State. They do hold the tiebreaker to both teams. They will need 2 wins, so they will need at least a series win to secure a Big 12 tournament spot. Or they will need Arizona to lose at least 2 this weekend in order to clinch. Now, Cincinnati and Texas Tech has been playing each other the last couple of years. They have most recently seen each other in the Big 12 tournament. They so far have split the series in Arlington. 2024, Texas Tech won 10-5, and last year UC won 6-5. Well, next week is tournament play for college baseball. And beginning on May 29th, which is the following week, the last weekend of May, begins the NCAA regional playoffs. From the 29th to the 31st, the Super Regionals take place June 5th through June 8th, and the World Series takes place June 12th through the 22nd. We will keep you up to date as we learn more when it comes down to college baseball. Now, I know out here in Cincinnati, we cover a lot of Xavier. I'm not saying that Xavier is not a bad program. There's just a team I don't cover as much. I am focused and dialed in on Cincinnati Bearcats. Football, basketball, and all that stuff. following one team there. Excuse me. Let me give you some NBA playoff updates. Last night, the Cleveland Cavaliers beat the Detroit Pistons 117 to 113. They advanced to a 3-2 record in this round. There's no games played today, but tomorrow, two games available on Amazon Prime. First game at tip-off at 7 p.m. We'll have the Pistons in Cleveland against the Cavaliers. If the Cavaliers win, they will go on to advance to the semifinals. And then at 9:30, the Spurs, who have a 3-2 lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves, will tip off. Winners will advance to the next round. If a Game 7 is needed, it will take place on Sunday, May 17th. In NHL playoffs, something that we haven't really covered here in recent weeks, but let's go ahead and dive right in. The Hurricanes have shut out the Flyers earlier, ending their headed to the semifinals as they beat them 4-0 in a series, and they would advance as of May 9th. Yesterday, Colorado Avalanche secured their round by beating the Minnesota Wild 4-1 was the series result. They won in overtime 4-3 last night. Tonight, two hockey games are up for grabs. 7 p.m. on TNT, the Canadians take on the Sabres. The series is tied at 2 apiece. And then at 9:30 on TNT, the Golden Knights take on the Anaheim Ducks. Las Vegas has a 3-2 lead in the series. That is your sports update. All right, I wanted to turn my attention to the NFL, to the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's have some conversation here this back half out. That's how today is going to roll. Very light day, but a lot of fun days as we get ready for the NFL schedule officially to be released. Now, I mean, earlier this week, we have seen a lot of things already take place. Schedule's been leaked, this and that. I mean, everything that I'm learning here, everything that I'm seeing it on the NFL, on CBS Sports, on the NFL category. Let's start off with the Cincinnati Bengals, folks. So yesterday we talked about the international game that Joe Burrow is excited about. His wishes are coming true. And that is because Joe Burrow is going to be headed out to Madrid, Spain to take on the Falcons in week number 9 of the NFL season. That's November 8th on your calendar. And, you know, uh, he's excited. I have to be excited. I think it's a fun thing. If you're anybody, so as a baseball fan, I think it would be the coolest thing ever. I've always said there's a lot of respect for players to go walk into Wrigley, to walk into Dodger Stadium, to walk into the Bronx or into Fenway Park, just because there's a lot of rich history when it comes down to historical moments in these areas. So for me, as one, it's not just going in and playing a game. You are walking on similar grounds of a lot of legends. We're talking about Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, Jackie Robinson, Lou Gehrig. Okay. I say that because football is kind of same thing. There's a lot of rich history that's gone on around. And so I think that there are moments where if you get a play, be a part of, it's truly good enough to cherish. And these international series, they are good enough. You are representing not only your team, not only your skill level, but you're representing the entire NFL in a different country that doesn't get to see you quite often. And I think for great talent to be able to want to go out there and add to the diversity, add to, the history, then I think that it's good for them. Okay. So I'm happy that Joe Burrow is happy. The only thing that I will say in regards to that is I need to remind us fans that we just need to focus on one game at a time. We're going to sit here and play devil's advocate here in a moment, but we can't get ahead of what's going to happen at 9:30 in the morning if you're going to decide to wake up and go to your church service, or you're going to sit and watch the NFL network to watch the Bengals play on November 8th, or if you're going to be able to. We got to focus on what the schedule lies ahead. And so for me, I think it's great when we get excited about these things. If we play Monday Night Football, we play Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, we play on Christmas, we play on Thanksgiving. I think these are special moments. Great, but right now, the way that we ended last season, the way that we played last year, I don't want any spotlight games. I don't want to be the only game going on until we could prove and reestablish ourselves. I need us to focus on just winning football games. But he is our captain. So if he's happy, we're happy. Other Bengals news: Bengals signed draft pick Desario Davis. Played 37 games, started in 29 of them. Spent 2022 to 2024 with Arizona, and the 2025 season against Washington. Through his college days, he's recorded 95 tackles, 3.5 tackles for losses, 25 pass breaks, breakups, 3 interceptions, 1 fumble recovery. Um, so we're gonna add that. Also, other news: Dexter Lawrence um, is mentoring Shamar Stewart. The thing that's one thing that's great when you look at it. Dexter Lawrence comes in as a veteran. He comes in as somebody who can not looking for self results. If I look back and I compare Max Crosby to Dexter Lawrence, I can't. I don't know both of them personally, what they do and how they present themselves in the locker room, outside the field, on the field, whatever you want to consider. But the one thing that I tend to also be able to pick up is that Dexter Lawrence to me comes off as someone who can mentor. He is not looking for self success. He's here to teach and to guide the younger talent with them, as long with having success with them. But it takes a whole team, right? So to see, it's not surprising that Dexter Lawrence is wanting to already work with the younger talent. As a matter of fact, I think it'll bring the best out of both of them, especially on a competition level. But what it does is that, you create these games, you create this environment where things are looking good, people are happy, they're playing best football, and that's what you need. You need the atmosphere on the defense to be uplifted, to be lively in their make. And then also, um, Joe Flacco was actually announced earlier this week that he will star in season 3 of Netflix documentary Quarterbacks that will air on July 14th. It's about on and off field experiences and accesses to quarterbacks and their work ethics and the things that they do throughout the course of the season. Joe Flacco is one of 4 quarterbacks that will be portrayed in this documentary: Tampa Bay Buccaneers Baker Mayfield, Tennessee Titans Cam Ward, and Washington Commanders Jaden Daniels. A documentary I'm looking forward to see. All right. We're moving right along. We got to a late start, but we got caught up. We are going to um let's get you everything that we need to know heading into this year's draft. Okay. Who will the Seattle So here's the thing. So far, let me just start you off here. Apparently, so today, things are just getting updated. The official schedule, I want to make sure that this is clear. The official schedule is released tonight. That doesn't mean that teams or reports can't be leaked out earlier on. But we can't take nothing serious as a confirmation until tonight. And so here's what we do know. Monday night, this came as of, it was just here. So Thanksgiving week schedule is taking shape. I'm just going to walk you down the list. Okay, so there is a Thanksgiving Eve schedule. It looks like the Packers and Rams will be on Netflix at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, November 25th. On Thanksgiving, there are 3 games. The Bears and Lions at 1. That'll be available on CBS. On Fox, you have the Eagles and Cowboys. And at 8:20, you have the Chiefs and Bills on NBC. Black Friday, November 27th, is the Broncos and Steelers at 3 p.m. on Amazon. On Sunday, the 29th, 2 games have been informed about the Giants and Colts, Titans and Jaguars. And then that Monday on ESPN, the Panthers and Buccaneers. Monday Night Football. And as we learn this, I'm going to have to make adjustments. But Monday Night Football, week 1 is the Broncos and Chiefs. Week 2 is the Giants and Rams. Week 3 is the Eagles and Bears. Week 4 is the Bills and Rams. Week 5 is the Cowboys and Eagles. Week 7, we don't have week 4. We have week 7, the Cowboys and Eagles. Week 9, the Bills and Vikings. Week 11 is going to be the Bengals and Commanders. Week 12 is the Panthers and Buccaneers. The Steelers and Jaguars, week 14. Week 15 is Patriots and Chiefs. And Giants and Lions on week 17. In week 12, November 26th, the Chiefs and the Bills at 8:20 on Thanksgiving. Week 13, December 3rd, Chiefs and Rams at 8:15 on Amazon. Week 14, December 13th, Chiefs and Bengals. That's a 4:25 game, according to sources. And the Patriots and Chiefs, week 15, December 21st. So let me just also jot that down. Looks like bear with me. I'm trying to keep up to date with that. So we know it's not going to take place. And then in we have Monday Night Football in week 11 at Washington Commanders. Okay. Excuse me. Thursday Night Football is leaked. This, like I said, this is not confirmed. But week 2, we had the Lions and Bills. Week 3, we have the Falcons and Packers. Week 5, we have the Buccaneers and Cowboys. Week 7, we have the Patriots and Bears. Week 10, we have the Commanders and Giants. The Colts and Texans, week 11. The Broncos and Steelers on week 12. Week 13, Chiefs and Rams, Vikings and Patriots, week 14. Week 16 is Texans and Eagles. And week 17 would be the Ravens and Bengals. Okay. So they do get a Thursday night football. Okay. More than likely, that's what they're going to get. I don't see anything for Sunday night. Christmas update and Netflix update, New Year's. All right. The Giants also have apparently their full schedule's been released. Um, week 1 breakdown this far. I don't see the Bengals there. A lot of this is it's pretty wild, right? Only 15 games officially been announced, right? You can confirm these games so far. The Bengals are listed with the Falcons in the international game. That's pretty much it. All right. So it's interesting to see how these schedules are going to pan out. For me, though, let's take a look at what the Bengals have in a possible schedule. Now, here's what we do know for the Bengals thus far. This far, we know that they'll be in Madrid week 9 against the Falcons. We know that in week 11, they'll play Monday Night Football. Is it Monday night or Thursday Night Football? Thursday Night Football. No, Monday Night Football against the Commanders. And then they play the Chiefs week 14. And then the Ravens on Thursday Night Football if everything else stretches out. So the only thing that's been confirmed is week 9, and that's the Falcons in the international game. But if we were going to put the rest of the season together, the first question I'm asking you is who opens up the Bengals? Now, here's my prediction. This is not accurate. Don't take my word for it. We'll confirm tomorrow. My prediction is that they open things up because they were on the road last year with the Browns. They open things up at home this year. They'll be on the road to finish the season this year, from what it looks like. Okay? Which means to me, they are opening things up, I predict, with the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, excuse me. I don't think we're going to get anything until. So their schedule release officially counts down 6.5 hours. I don't think there's any other rumors or whatnot to their schedule. And I don't think the website's going to say anything until they can confirm all of it. All right. So I predict that the Bengals open up against the Buccaneers. Then I predict that they go to Baltimore for Sunday Night Football, week 2. Probably not going to happen. Bold prediction. Okay. Then I'm thinking they're going to go to Indianapolis, back home to Jacksonville, out to Miami in week 5, taking on the Steelers in week 6, going out to Cleveland in week 7, coming home, taking on, let's do the Saints in week 8. In week 10, they're on the road. I think they have the bye in week 10. In week 11, they're in Washington. In week 12, I think they're home. Or week 12, yeah, week 12, I think they're home. You know what? I think actually they'll play in week 10. They'll come back and play. Tough schedule there. But they'll probably be home to the Titans in week 10. Then they'll have the bye in week 12. Week 13, they'll be on the road against the Browns. Well, not on the Browns. On the road against the let's say Texans. This is completely opposite. I'm already utterly failing at this. Um, I feel like they finish off the season at Pittsburgh, or you know what, at Browns. I feel like that's what they'll do in Week 18, Sunday game. They're home against the Ravens. Week 16, I want to say Miami's up early on. Commanders already checked off the list. I got the Texans. Let me do Texans on the road at Week 16. Kind of working backwards here. Um, I think Week 8 they're going to go with the Panthers on the road. And then they will be home to the Titans Week 10. And they're home to the Saints. So I'll probably be home to the Saints in Week 10 by Week 12. I can see them back-to-back home games. They'll also have to home. They have already hosted the Ravens. They're going to host maybe the Browns. And they're home to the Steelers Week 15. Like I said, none of this is accurate. Don't take my word for it. So I have them kicking the season off against the Buccaneers. I had them in Baltimore Week 2, in Indianapolis Week 3, home to Jacksonville Week 4, in Miami Week 5, home to Pittsburgh Week 6, in Cleveland Week 7, home to the Panthers Week 8, on the road. Well, that to be on the road to Panthers, huh? They're going to be home. I'm going to say they're home to the Panthers on Week 8. They're on the road to Atlanta in Week 9. They're on the road to Ravens already. Jaguars, yes. Titans, I don't have the Titans here. No, right? It would be home to the Titans in Week 10. And then I'd have the Washington Commanders by Browns, Chiefs, Steelers, Texans, Ravens, Browns. I don't know. Let's play that fun game. It's a fun game. I'm trying to predict what the schedule looked like. I'm trying to be as realistic as possible, but based off the information we are given. And so, we're sitting here just having some fun trying to predict the schedule. Who do you think the Bengals are going to kick the season off with? Is it going to be a division team? Is it going to be the Buccaneers, the Jaguars? I don't think that they're going to kick the season off against a division team. So that's my opinion. But more stuff has developed early on, just in like recent minutes. You ask yourself, though, here's the questions that are important to ask. First off, Seattle Seahawks has the first game of the season. So if you're going to ask yourself anything, who is their opponents? It's not going to be the 49ers, not going to be the Rams. Is it going to be the Cardinals? Um, who will Thanksgiving look like? They already kind of have that answer. What will the annual Black Friday games also look like? That's a fun answer to have. Okay. Will the Chiefs get another Christmas game 4 straight years? And all of this matters. What we can answer now is that you have a Thanksgiving Eve, game, 3 Thanksgiving games, and a Black Friday game. Chiefs or Thanksgiving. Yeah, Monday Night Football leaked out. Like you said, nothing is official until tonight. You got Thursday Night Football leaked out, although nothing is official until tonight. Until tonight, they believe that the Chiefs will open up 2 primetime games. Week 1, September 14th at 8:15 on ESPN. That's Monday night against the Broncos, and then they will host the Colts 8:20 on NBC. I think that's on the on Sunday Night Football. Okay, that's fine. Rumors that Panthers will land their first Sunday night game in 10 years. I'd like to see that happen. Rams will catch a break in week 2 after a trip to Australia, which will be a very important figure to kind of keep an outlook out. It looks like on Christmas Day so far, we have the Packers and Bears. We have the Rams and Seahawks and the Broncos, but who's going to face the Broncos? You have a Christmas Eve rumor where they expect the Eagles to host on December 24th. The Chiefs' schedule leaks out. Thanksgiving will be a brutal stretch for the Chiefs as they have the Bills, they have the Rams, and they have the Bengals back to back to back weeks on the road. 2 of them are in primetime matchups. They expect the Rams, go back to the Rams and Seahawks. Netflix lands Thanksgiving Eve game as Packers and Rams will start the tradition. I think that's a fun tradition. I don't mind about these traditions. What I get worried about here is, like I said, it's more football. Don't make it complicated for travel. Don't make it complicated for preparation. Make it simple. But we will be back here tomorrow, and we will be able to finally reveal what the Bengals schedule looks like, how far we are off, kind of getting our first look. And now I think officially, I think this is where it kind of locks in and sets. Football season starts. I know we're in May. We have practically 2 months before the first preseason game. We have preseason action, which can get very, very hyped about. And this team that has done their due diligence in the draft, in free agency, in trades, I feel have focused successfully on what they need to do to win this season. I also look at the schedule ahead and just the opponents alone, and I believe that the Bengals are in a perfect position where they have no excuses to win. To win 10-plus games. I mean, I if you just look at it, I think they should be able to split the series with the Ravens. Beat the Browns both games. Beat the Steelers. At least split the series with them. That's 4 wins right there. I believe should easily happen. The Dolphins should be an easy win. The Saints should be a win. The Falcons, possibly the Commanders, but the Falcons, the Texans could be an easy win. The Colts could be a win. Or the Jaguars. I think we should take at least 2 out of the 4 opponents in each the AFC and NFC South and win. That's another 4 wins. That's 8 wins right there. Man, should be a good season. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. I appreciate everyone's support for tuning in. Please be sure to hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Have those notifications on so you don't miss a single episode. Please follow us on our social media pages. We're on Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you need to take us on the road with you, be sure to check out your local podcast listening station, as the TNC Sports Talk is on that. We're available on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and more. We will be back tomorrow from 12 to 1. Thank you guys for tuning into the TNC Sports Talk. My name is Justin, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.